What is going on, everybody? I go by the name of Curry, and I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish. I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. Yeezy videos are starting to get played out. A lot of your favorite creators are really struggling to figure out a way to keep showing you guys the exact same sneaker over and over and over again, while pretty much saying the exact same stuff over and over and over again. Yeah, I get there's different colorways coming. Yeah, I get that the releases are a little bit different, but at the end of the day, it's the same box, it's the same shoe, and nobody really knows what to say anymore except, is this the best Yeezy yet? Is this the worst Yeezy yet? Is Yeezy brand dead? Is Yeezy brand alive? And all this other type of stuff. Look, we're not going through all that today, all right? Today we're gonna take a look at the shoe. Of course, you guys already know what it is by the title, but not only that, I'm gonna dig a little bit into the business part of what's going on between Adidas and Nike and why the title is true, that Yeezy could actually end up taking over Jordan brand. Without further ado, let's get into it. Boom. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 version 2 Earth. It's another 350 version 2, just a brown one, but we'll take a closer look. All right, guys, starting with the upper of the sneaker. Again, prime knit upper on the sneaker. This one does have the pull tab on the back. That's a cool design. Everything is brown, everything coinciding with that whole earth motif here. Everything is brown, just like dirt, pretty much. So you got the full brown upper here. You got the little lighter brown shoelaces on here as well. You actually have the dyed translucent strip on the lateral portion of the sneaker here. I thought that was kind of cool that they actually dyed it brown after stitching it into the prime knit, so that was kind of dope. You have this darker brown outsole as well with this interesting yellow boost pod in the back of the sneaker here, right underneath the actual boost unit. That's pretty much the only place on this entire sneaker where there's anything except brown. On the insole of the sneaker here, you get the Adidas Yeezy branding on the heel of the sneaker, and it's kind of this dark, I don't know, I guess dark gray, kind of graphite colored insole here. That's it. That's literally the sneaker. I don't know how you guys have been able to make entire videos that are 10 to 12 minutes long talking about this plain looking shoe, but kudos to my fellow creators for doing that, because I'm not the one. Now, getting into the way that this sneaker released, of course, it was a part of the regionally exclusive Yeezys that came out. This was a part of a 3-pack this time. This particular sneaker was released in the North America region, Canada, the United States, a little lower than that, Mexico, things like that. Then you have the tail light Yeezys that came out. The tail lights were actually my favorite out of this 3-pack. The Earth was not my favorite. It's an interesting color, but not my favorite. The tail lights had that really nice gray kind of silver color with that pop of color on the back of it. That was the European drop for the UK, London, places like that. And then you also had the flags. And the flags went to places like Africa, kind of the lesser known places that people don't really talk about as much. But the flags was a really interesting design. It was a yellow color. So that was a pretty cool one too. Now, obviously with the regional exclusives, you're going to drive hype up a little bit on the sneaker. But what we're actually starting to see is the Yeezy starting to plateau a bit. Now, some people would think that that's a bad thing, but I don't. I actually think that it's a good thing. And here's why. The Yeezy brand itself has really cemented itself into a staple sneaker here. You're not going to see very many people that have any kind of a sneaker collection these days, even if they're not really into sneakers and they still don't have a pair of Yeezys. The sneaker really appeals to so many different kinds of people for so many different reasons, and in some aspects, even more than Air Jordan. What I mean by that is that the Yeezy has actually been generally accepted by more people than the Air Jordan because it's really a running shoe, and I think that we forget about the fact that the Yeezy itself, with its boost technology and its prime knit upper, this thing is a workout shoe. You're supposed to be running in these, you're supposed to be active in these sneakers. These aren't made just to wear with your skinny jeans and to take pictures of for Instagram. And a lot of people use Yeezys for that reason. I see a lot of people going to the gym in their Yeezys. It's an incredibly comfortable shoe to work out in. People run in their Yeezys, and of course, people chill out in their Yeezys and do all of that lifestyle stuff as well. And because of that, I actually think that it's a much more versatile shoe than really pretty much any Air Jordan out there. You guys got to remember, there's an Air Jordan model for pretty much everything that's out there. There's basketball sneakers, which of course Yeezy is coming out with the quantum basketballs now, so they're trying to get into that market right now. But when it comes to the casual and the running world, Yeezy has already jumped over to Jumpman as far as that goes. What was the last Jordan running shoe that you picked up? Was it the T-Runner, the Trunner? Because I think a lot of you guys don't have the Trunner right now. A lot of you guys don't have that Jordan. A lot of you guys are copping retros that primarily are basketball sneakers, and this isn't even a basketball sneaker to begin with, so Yeezy isn't even trying to venture into that space. But if we're talking athletic footwear as a whole, brand to brand, let's talk athletic footwear as a whole, brand to brand. So I want to talk about Adidas versus Nike, because I think that that's the bigger thing here versus Yeezy versus Jordan brand, because I got to look at the brand as a whole and what those particular brands are doing to boost their brands as a whole. We all know that Yeezy and Ivy Park right now are the front runners for the reason why a lot of money has been coming into Adidas lately, right? We also know that Jordan brand is the reason why Nike as a whole has really been booming lately. But again, when you look at those two brands, you have to look at the whole spectrum of what's going on right now, and that's Nike and Adidas. I took a look at Nike's most recent quarterly earnings report, and I believe that's for Q2 of 2020. You guys know Nike's fiscal year falls in like really weird months and years. So even though it's like February of 2020 right now, they're really in like their fourth quarter of 2020 or something. But in any event, on their last reports, I really honed in on footwear growth and apparel growth. Now here's the deal. In North America, footwear sales are up at Nike by 8%, but apparel was only up by 1%. Now you would think that that means that apparel isn't doing that well, but when you look at it at a global scale, it actually is. For example, in Europe, footwear is up 8%, but apparel is up 13% at Nike. In China, apparel is up by 15% at Nike. And even in Asian and Latin America, apparel is up by 14%. So what does that tell you? That tells you that apparel has been a huge driver into all the money that's being made at Nike as a whole. Now, of course, they owe a big share of that to Jordan brand, because we know that that growth, as they've stated themselves, has a lot to do with Jordan brand. So much so that it was also in the news that Jordan brand just had their first $1 billion quarter. Now, when you really think about that, right, they made $1 billion in a quarter. Why did that happen? Let's break that down a little bit too. It's no secret that we have been absolutely flooded with Air Jordan 1s. What I think happened is that Jordan realized that the high OG retro Jordan 1, it's a nice sneaker. People are gonna buy it, especially in certain classic colors. But where the really sweet spot was for Nike, especially last year, was in Jordan 1 mids, and the explosion in Jordan 1 mids all of a sudden. And that's largely based on their collaborations that they did. People weren't really buying mids at first, but they started coming out with some really fly colorways, and then they came out with some really dope collaborations. Blue the Great, Melody Ashani, people like that. And now we're seeing Jordan 1 mids on the market right now for $700, $800, $900, $1,000 for a mid. Here's what a lot of people aren't talking about is going on at Jordan brand and Nike right now. Jordan brand has a ton of money to put into marketing, into what they call demand creation. Now in a previous video, I talked about what demand creation dollars are. It's basically marketing dollars, huge millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, as a matter of fact, that goes into creating these experiences and these releases and shock drops and all these other types of things that really get people immersed into an interactive experience and gets them excited about buying a sneaker and buying apparel. Wish some of them dollars had gone into that Black History Month drop, because that was awful. Anyway, the OG sneakerheads that wanted to buy up all the retro Jordans, they're still there, but that's not where the real dollars are. The real dollars are those young dollars, those 15-year-old up to like 28-year-old dollars, people like that. And where are a lot of people spending that money that fall into that demographic? Right here at Adidas. Millennials and Generation Z kids these days are doing one of two things with their money. They're buying sneakers that they really want to wear, that a lot of times end up being sneakers like this because they're comfortable and fashionable, or they're putting their money into really limited sneakers that they can flip for a profit. Now here's the deal. Yeezy is a sneaker that a lot of people want to wear. Jordan is a sneaker that a lot of people want to flip. So what that means on the Yeezy side is that they have a lot more consistent sales, because with Nike, they end up having to do little things like they did with the Chicago Jordan 3, limited drops that aren't really limited, but they seem limited because their marketing made you think that they were limited, but they're really trying to still sell a ton of pairs of the shoe. But a lot of people aren't wearing Jordans these days. Let's just keep it a buck. The shoe that you're wearing, or if you're wearing a Jordan, 9 times out of 10 is a Jordan 1. I don't really see a lot of people that are walking around with Chicago 3s on. Not to say it's not happening, but you just see a lot more people with Yeezys on their feet on a day-to-day basis than Jordan. And again, I'm just talking about a certain demographic. I'm not saying everything, because I know a lot of you guys, you like your J's, you rock your J's. I'm not saying that you don't. But what I'm saying is that on a grand scale, we've seen in the fast growth that Adidas has had as a brand. Remember, Adidas is moving at 70% growth rate right now, whereas Nike is only moving around a 15% growth rate over the last 5 years. That really says something. Now, granted, Nike is still far ahead of Adidas in terms of total revenue and billions of dollars that they're generating on a yearly basis, But Adidas is really hot on its trails, and that's for two reasons: Kanye West and Beyonce. If you notice, yeah, there were some people that were selling Ivy Park stuff, and there was a lot of demand on Ivy Park stuff, but a lot of people were wearing their Ivy Park stuff. A lot of people didn't buy that stuff specifically to flip it. Same thing with Yeezys. The reason why you see the resale on Yeezys going down a lot these days is because these people actually want to wear their shoes. A lot of resellers are not trying to buy up all the Yeezys so that they can flip them. Yeah, it's happening, and there's demand out there that still is going to exceed whatever the supply is. That's why you're seeing the Earth sell for around $275 to $300. But at the same time, a lot of people, they just want to wear their Yeezys. They want to rock them, and StockX don't take stuff used. Now that's good news for GOAT, because what you see there is that a lot of people, they wear their Yeezys, a new Yeezy comes out, they want to sell their Yeezy off at that point as used, get as much money back out of it as they can, put that money into a new pair of Yeezys that they can rock. Not only that, but I also want to say one more thing about Jordan Brand and how Nike was able to have that $1 billion quarter over at Jordan Brand. Now, it was said in an article that the way that Jordan Brand got to that $1 billion had a lot to do with wholesale. And those two wholesale channels that were talked about in the article that I read, number one was to your traditional stores, your Foot Lockers and Champs and places like that. But the second wholesale channel I found very interesting, and it was Nike selling wholesale products to other Nike channels that are used for direct-to-consumer purchasing. Now, I really found an interest in that one, because what that tells me is that Nike owns a different wholesale company that then sells itself sneakers that are then used for places like sneakers or installations or pop-up shops or Flight 23 experiences for all-star things of that nature. So Nike is actually selling itself sneakers that it uses on its own platform, but they call it revenue because theoretically it is a sale. And that is also what contributed to that $1 billion quarter that Jordan Brand had. It's kind of gaming the system a little bit, because I don't know all the specifics about being able to track profit and things of that nature, but I'm sure that they have all that figured out somewhere. Now, there's one last thing that we really haven't talked about either on the Adidas side of the house that is a huge gap right now, and if that gap ever gets filled, I really think that it can make the brand take off. Apparel. Obviously, when Yeezy came out with his original Yeezy line with them hobo looking clothes that were way too expensive, nobody bought them. You could get that stuff for 80% off from certain stores. But imagine for a minute that they came out with some really dope novelty Yeezy t-shirts with Adidas at regular Adidas pricing, $20 to $30 for a t-shirt. Imagine how much money would be generated by having a really fly accompanying Earth t-shirt for Yeezys, or taillights or flax t-shirts that went along with this, some kind of apparel. Imagine how much more money Adidas and the Yeezy brand would be making if they started coming out with apparel that matched up with this stuff. They would completely blow it out of the water right now. Right now, between both companies, apparel accounts for about 50% of the money made versus footwear. They could really ramp up the apparel dollars on the Adidas side if they ever come out with Yeezy Adidas branded apparel. Now, will it ever happen? I don't know, because Kanye, of course, as the sole owner of the Yeezy brand, that's his call. Because Kanye is kind of here, there, and everywhere, the chances of him ever actually saying, yeah, let's do some $25 Yeezy t-shirts to go along with these sneakers, probably won't happen. But from a corporate perspective, if I'm Adidas, I definitely want that to happen. That's a huge market. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there, but I just want to let you guys know that it's not as cut and dry as Yeezy versus Jumpman. There's a lot of things that happen beyond the surface, underneath these financial reports and these quarterly earnings. And if you pay close attention to it, you can see that Adidas and Yeezy actually are giving Jordan Brand a lot of competition right now. So who knows what's coming up next for the Yeezy brand? All we know is that it's worth $1 billion already, and it took Jordan Brand a lot more time to be worth $1 billion than it took Yeezy to get there, and there's still some holes in the market that Yeezy hasn't even tapped into with Adidas. I know I'm gonna be keeping my eye out on it while I cop more Yeezys and while you guys cop more Yeezys, because whether you want to admit it or not, y'all like these shoes. All right, guys, that's all I got to say about these today. Now it's time for you guys to sound off in the comments and let me know what you guys think about everything I talked about today. And of course, the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 version 2 Earth. Did you guys get your hands on these? Did you pick up a pair? It's a cool color. I like it. It's something a little different. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Oh, of course, right down in the comments, make sure that you click on that subscribe button so that we can welcome you into the Sneaker Fetish family, to make sure you don't miss out on any more heat that comes through like these, because I guarantee you, I got a lot more heat on the way. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on Sneaker Fetish, taking a look at these with me, unboxing them with me for a couple of minutes. I go by the name of Kari. This is the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 version 2 Earth. And until next time, I'm out.